bright blue skies overhead. So we may see some adventures in pop-ups and fly balls at times today. Brandon Phillips leads off for the Reds at second base. Paul Janisch at shortstop. Joey Votto, MVP of the National League year before last and a two-time All-Star, first base. Scott Rowland, the veteran, at third base hitting cleanup. Jay Bruce slugging right fielder. Ryan Ludwig is in left field hitting sixth. Drew Stubbs, big, powerful, and very fast in center. Ryan Hannigan is the catcher. And the former Colorado Rocky left-hander Jeff Francis is the starting pitcher, batting ninth.
On the hill today for the Giants, going to be the starting pitcher, and I doubt if you're going to see him make any more starts after this one. It's Guillermo Mota, 38-year-old right-hander. Kind of a reward today as this become a whole staff game. And you'll see it a lot of times during the course of spring training where the scheduled starter will go down because they don't want him to face a National League team. For Mota, he's going to go a couple innings, and the bullpen's going to have fun with it. But if you walked around the clubhouse today, he was acting like he'd started his whole career, and he was definitely playing the part of the temperamental starting pitcher. The defense playing behind Mota today for the Giants is going to set it up this way, starting across your outfield from left to right. Cabrera, Pagan, Sherholtz, likely your opening day outfield. Burris and Sandoval on the left side of the infield. Terrio and Posey on the right side. And Chris Stewart will be in the squat putting down the signs. Buster Posey caught last night. Here's a day game. He's going to be playing first base, which is what you might likely see once the season starts. So it was another test for Posey and his reconstructed ankle. And so far he has passed every test with flying colors.
Checking out the harsh glare of the sun, Buster Posey. Buster went 9 last night over in Peoria against the Padres behind the plate in a long night. Barry Zito threw a lot of pitches early on in that game. So now Buster is at first base here today. The first pitch from Mota in for a strike to Brandon Phillips.
Mota working out a stretch like so many relief pitchers will do. Very comfortable.
Good slider right on the outside edge at the knees. And it's 0-2 to Brandon Phillips. By the way, Posey at first base, and talking to Bruce Bochy before the game, and he said that he anticipated maybe Buster play first base 20 to as many as 25 games. As Mota strikes out Brandon Phillips, and he is gone quickly.
You don't see Brandon Phillips take many swings like that. Mota, perfect 0-2 pitch above the hand. You talk about breaking a guy down. Grab some pine meat. And like I say, he's a quality hitter. He doesn't take many hacks like that, especially with 2 strikes.
Hit over 300 last year for the Reds, did Brandon Phillips. Now, Paul Janisch. And the count is 0-1. There's a strong breeze blowing today, blowing straight out toward center field, toward the McDowell Mountains off in the distance. Nate Sherholtz shading the eyes with the glove. Now he's got it. 2 down.
Not an easy sky for outfielders today, but you do have that prevailing wind that you talk about, and usually it blows out. It is a ballpark that will favor the hitter.
And it seems like every ballpark favors the hitter when Joey Votto is at the plate. Joey Votto, who was the MVP in the National League in 2010. The Reds had a very strong season that year. Votto led the way. Last year hit .309, 29 homers, 40 doubles, 103 batted in, and everybody was disappointed in his season. They started pitching around him more and more last year. He had 110 walks last season. Mota has thrown nothing but strikes here in this first inning.
Well, that was the first changeup he's thrown, and it was perfect. Perfect location. Great arm action on it. He hadn't thrown one pitch that hasn't been a number one. To say this team is ready to go to San Francisco is a massive understatement.
0-2 to Votto. And the high fastball, and that is the first pitch out of the 8 thrown by Mota, not a strike. He tried a similar idea with Votto to the one which ended up with a strikeout of Brandon Phillips with 2 strikes, that high fastball. slider is in the dirt. Two and two the count. Mota, and it goes foul. Mota charging off the mound after that one. Mota, when he signed with the Mets, that was a long time ago, 1990, as a non-drafted free agent, and he played shortstop and third base, and he played them for several years in the Mets farm system, and finally he was selected by Montreal in the Rule 5 minor league phase in the offseason, and Montreal converted him to a pitcher. 1997 was his first year in pro ball as a pitcher, and he was a starting pitcher. Mike, you mentioned how he is not often going to be seen on the mound as a starter. Well, never in a long big league career has he started a game. 717 relief appearances, all his major league experience. He ends up walking Votto after having gotten ahead of him at 0-2. So a 2 down, Scott Rowland will come up.
It's a great at bat for Joey Votto. You get down in a hole 0-2 to a guy throwing nothing but strikes, and you work a walk. I'd have to say that he's seeing the ball pretty well.
Now Scott Rowland, 325 average in spring training. Rowland has had some injury problems to deal with. He's had a bad shoulder, but last year in particular, he only played in 65 games, and he had some surgery to try and correct that problem. As Votto runs, Stewart with a throw, and he got him. Votto complains the inning is over. Posey coming up third for the Giants. To bat. I'm John Miller with Mike Krukow. Dave Fleming over on radio side now will be along in the middle innings. Brilliant day here in the desert. The Giants batting order: Angel Pagan about to lead off in center. Melky Cabrera left. Buster Posey at first. Pablo Sandoval, 14 RBIs this spring, hitting cleanup at third. Terrio at second. Schuerholz in right. Barras the shortstop. Stewart catching. Guillermo Mota the pitcher batting ninth. Up against the veteran left-hander Jeff Francis. A strike knee high on the outside, and a perfectly thrown Francis strike right there.
Well, not a lot of velocity with Francis. So you're going to see mid to high 90s with the fastball. He has to rely on movement, and he has to rely on location. Big curveball and a changeup.
Not 90s.
What did I say? 90s, 80s. Mid 80s.
Don't throw that hard anymore. Maybe mid to the high 90s.
Sorry, 80s. Thanks, partner. Jeez.
Wow. You were tough to please, yeah.
Last time he saw 90s, he was in a car.
0-2 the count. Just a little bit low on the outside. 87 miles an hour.
That's about what you're going to get. But a big bender breaking ball you have to stay with. He'll work that outside corner against righties, sort of wrap that breaking ball around the plate.
Oh, down on strikes.
Let's take a look at the Reds defense playing behind Jeff Francis. Starting in the outfield from left to right, it'll be Ludwig, Stubbs, and Bruce. That's your outfield. Giannis and Rowland on the left side, Phillips and Votto on the right side, and Hannigan will be in the squat, putting down the signs.
Melky Cabrera, switch hitter from the right side. 1 ball and no strikes. Melky, unlike Pagan, has hit well this spring. .333 for his new ball club. 3 homers, 10 batted in. Pagan has not been able to get anything going. Although he spent a lot of time not only taking extra batting practice and over the minor league camp, but also looking at video. It's sharper, but Rowland has it kick off his glove. Giannis retrieves it. Safe at first.
Giannis almost makes a great play. And you watched Melky Cabrera come out of the box. I mean, he was not busting out of the box, but he kicked into a second gear about a third of the way down, and he legs an infield single. But a nice play from Giannis, who's got a cannon at short. Right now, boom, he kicks it in. And that's one thing about Cabrera. He's got a little afterburner to his speed. Giants fans are going to like that.
The big sweeping curveball to Posey for ball 1.
Guys in the truck had Cabrera at 4-3 from the right side. That's good.
Buster Posey, .324 this spring. Playing first base today. And a foul off to the left. Giants are very pleased. Buster's very pleased with the way the ankle, surgically repaired, has responded this spring. They've been very cautious with him. A program that Dave Gressner, the Giants head trainer, has put together for Buster. And they feel like he's ready to go. Bruce Bochy felt like, for all intents and purposes, that last night especially showed that the ankle, the leg, is as good as new. He played 9 innings, tough 9 innings, a long game for the Giants last night. He was sliding at second, breaking up double plays, and you name it, trying to beat out infield hits and so on and so forth. He did it all well. Phillips, Giannis, double play. And this Reds infield defense is among the best in the game, and we saw it there.
Head to the top of the second inning here in Scottsdale. Time now for our Ford right choice. For high quality and fuel efficiency, Ford is the right choice for California. Schedule a test drive today. And we look at the mechanics of Chris Stewart, one of the best throwing tall catchers I've ever seen. And they're a little bit of an athlete. Didn't have time to come up right over the top. Kind of had to throw a sidearm release. Looked like Thurman Munson. But boy, he gets the job done. And another victim is shot down. Joey Votto, the victim this time. And that's your forward right choice.
It was an odd play at second base, looking at that replay, because Votto in a pop-up slide looked like he snapped before he got to the bag. And that enabled Theriot to reach in really late with the tag, and he still got him. You don't see that often.
Well, it's the old deep play. You work on that in spring training.
Usually a guy slides and he stops when he gets to the bag.
Yeah, that's the goal. He went 89 feet 6 inches.
On one to Scott Rowland. He was at the plate when Votto got thrown out to end the first inning. Rowland will turn 37 on Wednesday. He has had an excellent career, although he has had some health issues at times, but always a top caliber third baseman and always an RBI man with power. And that changeup a little bit low from Guillermo Mota. Back for his second inning. He had 13 pitches thrown in the first. Mota, who, to me, one of the most interesting guys to talk to on this club or any other. And he's been through just about anything you can imagine as a professional ball player. That's a called strike two. Having been an infielder for several years. Not a guy who after 1 or 2 years they said, hey, it's not going to work. Try. I mean, he was down there year after year after year before they suggested he change. Right to Pablo. Rowland is retired. Run away.
Well, time is running out to become a 2012 Giants season ticket holder. There are only about 200 locations remaining, and Giants reps are at the ballpark right now, and they will answer your questions. All you have to do is call 415-972-2298. Season ticket holders will receive the best seats, the best prices, and they'll receive postseason rights. The season starts next week, so this is your last chance. Call 415-972-2298 and reserve your location for the 2012 season. Oh, yeah, they get their hats on. They're ready.
Jay Bruce. Bruce, another powerful guy.
I didn't recognize him. He's lost about 15 pounds. He looks fantastic.
Bruce had 32 home runs last year. And although he didn't hit for much of an average, he gets a lot of walks as well. And not many right fielders currently can outthrow Jay Bruce. He's got a weapon out there, throwing out runners, trying to score, trying to go from first to third, that sort of thing.
I think it was the month of May last year where he just completely went off. He was by far and above the best player in baseball.
Mota. Jay Bruce is gone.
Well, for Guillermo Mota, he was a big fella. He showed that, you know, if he wasn't a pitcher, he could have been a basketball player. 6'6", had a little jump ball on the comebacker. He's got some hops. Let's check it out. After you throw the pitch, you become an infielder. Oh, yeah, he could at least touch the net there, I think. Maybe even the rim. What do you think?
He could have goaltended.
Could have swatted it away.
2 down. Here is Ryan Ludwig for the Reds. 2 down, nobody on. And a bouncer foul. Now, Ludwig has got to be one of the happiest men who's made a change in baseball, because not so long ago he played for the San Diego Padres. His home games were at Petco Park. Now they're going to be at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. And right now he's penciled in by Dusty Baker to split time in left field with Heisey. But I would imagine his home run total is going to go up, playing a lot of games there.
Well, that's an interesting platoon system because they're both right-handed.
Heisey has just destroyed right-handed pitching and just can't seem to hit lefties at all. So he's like a right-handed hitter, but you platoon him like a left-handed hitter.
He called him on a quick pitch.
So no pitch.
Call time.
Bruce Bochy saying he didn't call time. Watch Ludwig. Did he call time? He did not. At least he didn't do it with his hand. Bochy making a point, maybe not so much for today, but somewhere down the road he's going to have Titchener behind the plate in a regular game. Point you make down here carries into the season.
2-2. 2 down, nobody on. No score in the game here in the second. Pablo Sandoval, by the way, will be leading off for the Giants in the last half of this inning. That was interesting. So Mota did hurry up his delivery, trying to take advantage of Ludwig not being ready. But you're saying the fact that he hadn't called timeout or asked for timeout even yet means that the pitch should have been allowed.
I believe it, unless he said something with his voice that we didn't hear. But even so, if you're in that box, you better be ready to hit. Pitcher, and I don't see why more guys don't do it. Why not quick pitch a guy? I mean, all you're trying to do is upset his timing anyway, and that'll definitely do it.
That's going to head back into the Misters. They got the Misters going here. This is something you don't see in too many ballparks in the regular season. It's sort of an Arizona affectation. You sit in little sidewalk cafes and whatnot in the summertime, and they got the Misters going. It's warming up here in the desert. Forecast calling for temperatures right around 90 degrees today. Ooh. Struck him out with that changeup. Second strikeout for Mota. Pablo Sandoval is coming up.
Well, it's what's becoming a great tradition, the Comcast Sportsnet Authentic Opening Day at AT&T. Baseball's back, and Comcast is opening up AT&T Park to watch the Giants and the D-backs from Arizona on the scoreboard. You get free admission, you get free hot dogs, free foam fingers. Watch the game with authentic fans at Comcast Sportsnet Authentic Opening Day, Friday, April 6th. Doors open up at 3, and log on to csnbayarea.com for more information. Free hot dogs, the first 5,000 fans. Free foam fingers for the first 3,000.
Which line would you be in? Would you be in
hot dog? I'd be going for the hot dog. You can't eat a foam finger.
1 ball and no strikes to Pablo Sandoval. Switch hitter batting right-handed against Jeff Francis, and it's 2-0. Ryan Terrio, another right-handed hitter to follow, and then Nate Scherholtz, a lefty, due third. No score in the game. Giannis. And there's one away. Giannis played shortstop most of last season for the Reds, but the guy that was supposed to be the regular shortstop got hurt early on, Zach Cozart. And Cozart is fine now, and he is going to be the Reds' opening day shortstop. But not in the lineup today. Giannis at short. Otherwise, they've got the rest of their opening day infield in there with Votto at first, Phillips at second, Roland at short. And the outfield, you've got one half of that left field platoon, the two right-handed hitting left fielders who are going to platoon. Ludwig in there today, Stubbs in center, Bruce in right. They'll be out there all year long for the Reds. 1 strike to Terrio. And a ball and a strike. Nate Sherholtz on deck. Reds had an outstanding season year before last, and then last year things just did not go well. Terrio tried to bunt for a hit, but he found it, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, he kind of committed to it. That thing sort of cut in on him. It was above the letters. I think he's mad that he offered it at a ball, pitch out of the strike zone.
1-2 the count. Nate Sherholtz on deck. And that cut inside, off the inside, almost hit Terrio. 2-2 the count. And a foul out of play. The Reds. And a fan caught that ball.
Yeah, Will Clark. Knew that guy had great hands.
So just wearing that jersey apparently is like you get super powers just wearing it. There's Brandon Phillips. Terrio is out number 2.
Let's check out the fan in the stands. One-hander high above. I mean, he had as many hops as Guillermo Mota on the comebacker. Nice pick. Oh yeah, that's an old player right there.
His SF is a little off center though. Did you notice that on his hat?
Yep.
I'm not going to say anything to him about it, but I think he needs a little adjusting. 2 down, Nate Sherholtz hitting .212. Nate felt here in the last day or two that maybe his timing had finally arrived, and he rips one there, but right to Votto. We're heading to the 3rd inning now in Scottsdale. Scoreless.
Where we take a look at the first 3 opponents that the Giants are going to take on during the regular season. They come back here and open it up April 6th against the Diamondbacks. It's part of a 6-game road trip. First 3 here in Arizona. Then it's on to Colorado, where they'll take on the Rockies for 3. And then April 13th, the Giants are going to tee it up at home. A 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Get the best in TV, internet, and voice with Xfinity, only from Comcast.
We head to the 3rd inning. The Giants bring in the veteran left-hander Jeremy Affeldt from the bullpen in relief of Guillermo Mota, who started the game. See Affeldt's numbers for the spring. One thing that's little odd for Affeldt has been the number of home runs he's given up down here, Mike. 3 home runs allowed in 10 innings. And all of them have been hit out into the opposite field, out into right center field, which the ball tends to jump in that direction in this ballpark anyway. That ball jumps into left center. A single for Drew Stubbs. Down to the Giants clubhouse is shortstop Brandon Crawford. Brandon, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Where are you? How come you're not in the game?
I got the day off today.
You don't like being on TV or what?
No, they gave me a day off, I guess. I'm playing tomorrow. But
And how's it been going down here for you?
it's been going well. I've been working on some things. The swing feels good. Ready to go.
Here is Affeldt facing Ryan Hannigan now. Pablo with a dive. One hop. Ooh. Buster Posey knocked it down. And heading for third base is Drew Stubbs. Pablo has had some problems with those low throws. Nice pickup, though. But no put out.
Brandon, how do you like this infield down here in Scottsdale?
It's a little harder than San Francisco. A little different weather, but it's been all right this year. A little bit better than the last couple of years. It's definitely better than Peoria and Mesa. Those fields are hard.
Those are your 2 least favorite. Now, what John was talking about in regards to your swing, and it's a big difference. You're having a very comfortable spring at the plate. What adjustments have you made this year to make the difference?
I'm using my hands more. I kind of made that change with a couple of weeks left in the season last year, and just kind of stuck with it this offseason and the fall league and a week before spring training started, and it's paying off.
Well, I think it seemed that the club was impressed with what they saw you able to do in the last couple of weeks of last season, and it did carry in. There's a bunt. It was a safety squeeze. The runner from third, Stubbs, was not running with the pitch. Although the runner from first was running. That's Ryan Hannigan. The count is 0-2 to Jeff Francis. So, and you were aware of it for quite a while, even before those last couple of weeks, but something seemed to click in at that time.
Yeah, like I said, I think I was just using my hands better. With the bat on my shoulder, I was just a little more relaxed and able to use my hands.
The ball bunted foul for strike 3 to Francis. So 1 away with runners at first and third. Now, apparently you got the bat going so well, and you were having success as a hitter, and suddenly then you got married. I mean, were the 2 related?
No, that was planned out a little in advance.
All right, so even if you hadn't got that worked out, you were going to get married one way or the other.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to get that straight. All right, so is that now life is good? You're married. You had a great honeymoon. Where'd you go on a honeymoon?
We went to Jamaica. That was fun.
Yeah. You didn't bring any photos or anything, did you? We'd like to share.
Oh, yeah. My wife's the side photographer, I think. So we have plenty of pictures.
All right. Well, congratulations.
All right. Thank you.
And what about this season? I mean, you feel like the shortstop job is yours and that's it?
I mean, I don't know. I'm going into it hoping and playing hard every day, just trying to keep the job. And yeah, I mean, I hope it's mine for a long time.
All right, so, but no promises have been made right now?
No, I haven't heard any.
Okay. So but you've done well. It seems like you've done what they would have wanted to have seen from you down here. 327 and whatnot. And so, as you say, you seem like you're real happy with the way things have gone for you.
Yeah, I feel good. Like I said, I'm ready to go. I want the stats to start counting for something.
Well, did it tick you off in the offseason where guys are saying you're a shortstop with a glove and no bat?
I mean, right is the right stuff. I mean, it happens. You can't listen to it a whole lot. I know I've hit in the past, so I knew it would come around eventually.
Well, we were talking about today. The best batting practice out there on the field today was yours. I mean, it's you look fantastic. Your balance is great. As you said, you're using your hands. You're using the whole field. You have to be very, very excited about the swing you have going into the season.
I am. I'm ready to go.
And you're going to prove some people wrong.
Yeah, I hope so.
That ball is hit well by Brandon Phillips deep into left. One hop up against the wall. Cabrera plays the carom. Stubbs has scored. Hannigan to third, and it's a double for Brandon Phillips, and the Reds have a 1-0 lead. Ball gets hit like that. in that situation, Brandon, runners at first and third, what's your first job as a shortstop then for setting up a relay play?
First and third, I'm probably setting up home. Depending on the speed of the runner, I don't. Looks like the catcher was running, so he probably wasn't scoring. But I'm setting up home just in case he does go and get out there for the left fielder. Hopefully, make a good throw and make a good relay.
All right. So, and you're the guy that he's looking for in that throw.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Well, that's the general idea.
Right.
Giannis fouls one off to the right and back out of play. And we're getting a look now. I don't know if you can see it, but here's Melky Cabrera playing the carom and firing in, and got the ball into to Terrio there. So
yeah, he probably thought he had a chance at second. Went for that instead. He probably knew the runner at first base.
All right, so now runners at second and third with a 1-strike count here to Paul Janisch, and the changeup is off the outside. Well, Mike, you mentioned Brandon's batting practice, and we do have some footage from that. It was so impressive, Brandon, that they cameras raced out there to record it for posterity. So that's a good BP.
I'll have to go check it out later.
That's a foul. Well, let's take a look now. This is from center field. Brandon Crawford earlier today in batting practice.
You have a lot of young hitters who are watching you hit right now. What are you trying to accomplish in batting practice? What are you thinking?
I mean, like I said, I'm using my hands a lot better, so that's really the main focus, is just trying to see the ball and throw my hands to where it's pitched. I mean, if it's middle away, try and take it out to left field. If it's middle in, then pull it.
So, and we saw there very clearly the resting the bat on the shoulder as the pitch is on the way. So that's a technique that you've used to help you with that.
Yeah. With a couple weeks left in the season last year, Boch called me in, and Boch, me, and Bam Bam were all talking, and he said, "I need to kind of relax my hands more and just relax a little bit up there." And I figured the best way to relax is just lay the bat on my shoulder. So that's what I tried doing, and it worked out.
All right. So it's a technique that you kind of came up with yourself then, to try to incorporate what they were talking about.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they told me to relax, and I figured that was the best way to do it.
Affeld, a little bit of trouble here, 3-2 the count, and that's a base hit to left for Paul Janisch. Hannigan in to score. Brandon Phillips stops at third as Cabrera hits his cutoff man, Pablo Sandoval, with the throw. 2 runs are in for the Reds here. Runners at first and third, and still only 1 out. 2-0 Cincinnati.
You know, Brandon, down here in spring training, it's customary that most teams will take infield every day, and that doesn't happen once the season starts. Do you miss infield once the season starts?
I end up getting my ground balls during batting practice. That's one of my favorite parts, so I usually make sure I get plenty.
Oh, I know you take your ground balls, but infield is different.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, for the most part during the season, we're on the same page, so we kind of know the guy's going to hit the relay man and where to go on certain balls, and which is kind of what you work on during infield. So.
Well, watching you take infields, it reminds me of Ozzie Smith, because it's very entertaining. And I know all the fans here feel the same way. And you are a bit of a showman.
That's a good guy to be compared to, that's for sure.
The Wizard, that ball gets past Stewart. And in from third comes Brandon Phillips. Janisch over to second. Now a 3-run inning for the Reds. And still only 1 out. So Affeld is struggling mightily here in the third inning. 3-0 Cincinnati.
Well, he lost the force too. For a guy like Affeld, who throws a lot of ground balls, you like to keep that guy at first base. But you know, you have a guy like Affeld out there, Brandon, who could throw the ground ball. Does that change your approach a little bit?
I'm always ready, that's for sure. I mean, if there's a runner on first, yeah, we're looking for that ground ball. We're expecting it every time.
He gets the ground ball. Terrio throws out slugger Joey Votto, with Janisch moving over to third base.
Affeld's also a guy that locates pretty good too, so I know if there's a guy that pulls the ball out or there's a fastball inside called, then I know it's going to be thrown right there, and I can move over a little bit, cheat a little bit.
What about the partnership at second base? Shortstop, second baseman, double play combination. Freddie Sanchez has not been able to play second base so far, so you really haven't had much of a chance to work with him. How about working with Ryan Terrio and Emmanuel Barris over there?
I mean, we've taken a lot of ground balls together and turned some double plays during batting practice. So we're used to each other by now, and we're all buddies up the middle. So our communication's good, and it's gone well so far down here.
All right. So and do they like to have the throw in a certain spot? If you're starting a double play to second?
Most second basemen like it in the same spot, so it's a pretty easy transition no matter who's there.
All right. So where do they like it?
If it's a flip, they like being able to come across the bag a little out in front, and then if it's a throw, they like it a little behind, protect themselves.
All right. So and you basically everybody seems to like that.
Yeah.
You play with,
yeah. Most second basemen are pretty similar.
Well, where do you like it?
I mean, I like it a little bit like on my right side, so I can get rid of it right away. But I mean, if they get it to me, I'll try and get rid of it.
You just want it quickly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So 4 runs in for the Reds now. An infield single for Scott Rowland, and Giannis was able to score. That was almost a comebacker to Affeldt, and then almost picked up by Burris. What's the toughest play for a shortstop? That was obviously a pretty tough one for Burris to try to make there.
Yeah, that was pretty much an impossible play for him. I think the slow roller to my right is probably the hardest thing, because you have to get over to it and then get rid of it right away, especially if it's a fast runner.
So moving to like having to come in and go to your right.
Yeah, it's because you have to go over to it and then it's a long throw across. So if it's a fast runner, it's a very tough play.
Well, Brandon, we're anxious to see you out on the field. We're happy we had a chance to talk to you today, since you're not in there, and you'll be back in tomorrow for the final game down here in Arizona for this spring. Anyway,
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, many thanks and congratulations again on the new marriage.
Thank you.
And on what's been an outstanding spring for you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Brandon Crawford, Giants shortstop. Many thanks to Brandon. As Dave Righetti's out to talk to Jeremy Affeldt here, with the Reds having a 4-run rally that's still going in the 3rd inning.
Now Righetti just going to give Affeldt a little bit of a breather. Titchener, the plate umpire, going to come out and break up the rock pile. But if you're Dave Righetti, you're going to emphasize that one thing that Affeldt does when he's going good is he gets ground balls. He's getting ground balls, but they're just kind of in between right now. The inning's running long, but get your work in. And also, if you're Dave Righetti, say thank you, because this doesn't count.
Jay Bruce fouls one off his foot, and the count 2 balls and a strike to Jay Bruce. Runner at first, 4 runs in, and this very ugly inning that doesn't count. Affeldt's now thrown 23 pitches, so he's getting a lot of work.
That's something Roger Craig used to always say when you see some activity lively in the Giants' pen.
And that'll go out of play off to the left.
Roger Craig used to always try to end on a positive when he used to come out on the mound if he's going to leave you in. And that would be the positive that you would end on right now if you're Dave Righetti talking to Affeldt, in that it's spring training. It ain't going on your baseball card, so don't worry about it. Get your work in.
Base hit to right field. Heading for 3rd is Scott Rowland. As Schulholz throws in towards 2nd. And it goes on for the Reds. Ryan Ludwig coming up next. There's Dave Fleming over in the KNBR radio booth. Dave will join Mike Krukow in the middle 3 innings here on NBC Bay Area and the Giants Television Network. Dave's looking very good, by the way.
Yeah, he's looking very baseball-ish. He was looking basketball-ish the first time we saw him, but you can tell he's starting to get the baseball look about him.
Yeah, and he looks a lot better when he's in the baseball-ish mode. I think we all agree. 9th batter of the inning, Ryan Ludwig. The Reds have batted around here in the 3rd. Ludwig struck out, ending the 2nd inning. Runners at 1st and 3rd. 4 runs in. A ball and a strike. Well, you mentioned telling the story. Dave Righetti goes out and tells a guy like Affeldt, hey, the great thing is, doesn't go on your baseball card. You're getting your work in. But as you mentioned at the top of the telecast, that is not something he could tell to everybody who may appear in today's game.
Well, I mean, there's no mystery as to whether or not Affeld's going to make the team. I mean, he's going to be a big part of the Giants bullpen. So a guy like this, he's obviously embarrassed right now. There's 10,000 people here. He's having an inning go long. I mean, you don't ever like to go out there and have a bad inning. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is all going to be forgotten come next Friday when the Giants open up their season here in Arizona. If it's a rookie and he's having the same type of an experience out there and the innings running long, then it's a little more traumatic. And it definitely would not enhance his chances to make the club. And then if a guy's on a bubble, this could be the inning that sways him from going north. And I mean, obviously, you would talk to him differently if you're a pitching coach.
Sherholtz. And at long last, Affeld gets through. 4 runs for the Reds. Emmanuel Burris coming up for the Giants. Now the Giants, Emmanuel Burris leading it off. The hands apart on the bat as if thinking about a bunt there as he takes ball 1. Burris is hitting .353 this spring. Switch hitter, batting right-handed. And the little breaking ball there from Jeff Francis for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Burris, Stewart in the pitcher's spot due up for the Giants. 4-0 Cincinnati leading. That's a called strike. 1-2 now. And Emmanuel Burris has impressed this spring and impressed enough that the Giants released the veteran Mike Fontenot yesterday. With Freddie Sanchez still not having played an inning at second base this spring. He will open the year in the disabled list. 1 hop to third. Scott Rowland. And 1 away. Chris Stewart now coming up.
It really is the one thing about spring training that absolutely stinks. When you say goodbye to a guy who's been a big part of your team's first world championship, I mean, there's a lot of emotion that runs on that.
Dan Runzler on the disabled list yesterday, as was Freddie Sanchez. Eric Surkamp, whose elbow had some inflammation, on the disabled list. And that's ball 1 to Drew Stubbs. Ryan Vogelsong, as planned, will open the year in the disabled list. Officially put there yesterday. Vogelsong pitched today over in the Giants minor league camp, but that's the reason why he could not pitch here today. Vogelsong, once you're on the disabled list, you cannot appear in a Cactus League game. And if you did, then the time when the Giants would be able to activate him from the disabled list would be altered. They right now apparently would like to have him ready to go for the final game against the Pirates on that Sunday, April 15th. As Stewart is retired, out number 2. Day after that, the Philadelphia Phillies will make their first visit, and a big early season showdown between the two teams that battled in that memorable league championship series in 2010. Giants and the Phils, and these special things on the schedule, including Giants Magnet Schedule Night presented by AT&T on the Monday night game, the 16th. The dynamic deal view reserve tickets are still available for just $15 for all 3 of those games at sfgiants.com. Justin Christian pinch hitting for Affeldt, and the count is 0-1 or 0-2.
2 off-speed pitches and a quick 0-2 from Jeff Francis, who's really been in command of everything he throws today.
1-2.
Except for that pitch right there.
Well, one thing is for sure, if it's 2 strikes, whatever kind of pitch he throws, fastball, curve, slider, whatever, changeup, it's not going to be in the strike zone.
Should be. It actually was a perfectly placed pitch, 0-2.
Here is Ludwig, right-handed hitter and a left-handed thrower, and the inning is over. Dave Fleming coming over from radio side with a 4th inning. 4-0 Reds.
Today to begin your adventure in a Jeep Wrangler, Patriot, Compass, Liberty, and Grand Cherokee, or visit Jeep.com to learn more. We are here in Scottsdale. Reds on top of the Giants by a score of 4-0. And here to join us with play-by-play, our old pal Dave Fleming. David B., welcome back.
Hi, Mike. Good to be back. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, last day at Scottsdale Stadium this spring.
Well, I know the players and the coaches are pretty excited that this weekend's going to wind things down. They can finally head north.
Everybody is ready to go.
It really has been a good camp from the Giants' perspective. And I'm glad you finally got a chance to see a little bit of it. We were a little worried there for a while. We put out the APB on you.
Here I am. I just needed a few games to get tuned up for the regular year.
Yeah, like 2 or 3.
How about Mitch Lively, new Giants pitcher here?
Former 16th round pick. Lively from Susanville, California. He's a big guy, 6'5", 240. And has always been a relief pitcher his whole career. And he's been everywhere in the Giants organization. Lively went to Sac State. And he was also a punter on the football team.
He's got a little football size to him. I don't know about punter size. Sherholtz having to track this one, and it's a fair ball. Stubbs, who can really run, and then Nate bobbles the ball in the corner. So Drew Stubbs is going to easily make it to third to start this 4th inning off. The second bobble in the outfield in this game for Nate Sherholtz. And Nate has had a spring where his defense has not been as sharp as we've come to expect.
He's had to battle a number of afflictions, a groin problem, a hip problem. He had a forearm problem. I mean, he hasn't been 100% for much of spring.
And that may well have caused some of the struggles, not just in the field, but in the plate for Nate Scherholz. Well, runner at third, nobody out, and Mitch Lively with the infield in, already in a jam. 90-mile-an-hour fastball that Ryan Hannigan missed. Well, every year at the big league level, Mike, there are pitchers who are sort of off the radar at the start of the year who end up pitching some major league innings. And Lively's the kind of guy who could be in the mix, AAA relief corps.
Well, he's got good credentials, over a 2-to-1 strikeout walk ratio.
Snap throw by Stewart, and Stubbs was too far off the bag. Stewart just picked him off.
What a weapon. This is not the first time we've seen that from Chris Stewart this spring. He is so quick, you freeze if you're a base runner. We watched him do it against the White Sox last weekend. Up right over the top, and Jay Stubbs is bang. That's our Lincoln Smart Move, brought to you by Lincoln. Trade up to luxury during the Lincoln Exchange Sales event. And that's our Lincoln Smart Move. Wow, what a release. Chris Stewart is a weapon, folks.
Well, there are very few in the game who've got the arm strength plus the quick release combo that Stewart has. Hannigan pops this one up, and Stewart working hard. Can't make the catch, and Stewart's upset at himself.
You can watch the exchange and how quickly he gets up. And for Stubbs, who's a pretty good base runner and has lots of speed, he just had his mind blowing. It wasn't even close.
No. Well, that totally changes the inning. You know, here it is a Cactus League game. Doesn't matter all that much here. 3-2, and Lively strikes out Hannigan. But if that's an important inning in the regular season, runner at third, nobody out, almost a guaranteed run. And Stewart wipes out Stubbs. And last year, that was, I thought, one of the most fun aspects of all last season for the Giants, watching him get a chance to play after so many years in the minor leagues, play in the big leagues, use his arm. He was a great story for the Giants.
Well, you could see a difference in him this year, too. I mean, last year, he really had to hit the comfort zone, but he has now. He's completely relaxed behind that plate. You watch how Stewart sets up, too. Extremely quiet, very still, good, solid target to throw to.
1-1 to Francis, and the pitcher grounds one to the left side. Nice diving stop by Pablo, and he throws out Jeff Francis. It's a good work after the leadoff triple. Stewart helps his pitcher 4-0 Reds.
Wanted. Breaking news, weather, and video. The top stories are on the NBC Bay Area app for iPhone. Download it right now.
Here we are in Scottsdale. Final home game for the Giants in the Cactus League, and they trail the Cincinnati Reds 4-0. A Reds team that the Giants will see early in the year. The Giants are in Cincinnati as part of their second road trip of the year. So an out-of-division matchup early on for the Giants against a Reds team that Dusty Baker feels strongly can be a contending team, maybe even the favorite in the National League Central.
That is not Bojes. That is Dusty Baker.
Dusty, that's his look in the Cactus League. Angel Pagan on the top of the Giants order against Francis. The starter still out there for the Reds. The sun is strong down here. You got to be careful. Angel Pagan, who in the last few days has said he's feeling much better at the plate. It's been a rough Cactus League for Pagan, and the numbers still don't look good, but he feels like he's ready for the start of the year now. Ground ball. Giannis, who's got great range and short, nice play.
Well, I think right now Pagan's swinging left side's a little better than his right side, but that's a good at bat right there. Use the middle of the field, solid contact. A lot of shortstops don't get that.
One out. Pagan is 0 for 2, and here comes Melky Cabrera. Very different springs for the two newest Giants in the outfield. Pagan has had a hard time getting it going. Melky Cabrera has been fantastic. Everybody has been impressed with this guy.
Well, what impressed me about the guy is how much pop he's got. I mean, he flips him out of batting practice, makes it look easy.
He's got power, he's got speed. He got fooled by that curveball, strike 2. He's got a great throwing arm in the outfield. He can play center field, although he's much better suited, I think, to a corner spot in terms of his defense. But he can handle center field. That's a pretty valuable player.
I think Giants fans are going to love this guy. When it's all said and done, 2012, Melky Cabrera is going to be a hero.
It was a pretty good spot, too, in that Giants order. If you got Posey and Pablo producing in the 3-4 spots in whatever combination, Cabrera a chance to hit in front of those guys, get on base, use his speed, score a lot of runs.
But he's a guy you could also put in the middle of the lineup in an RBI spot.
In fact, I think before the Cactus League started, Bruce Bochy's idea may well have been Cabrera like a 5-6 kind of hitter, an RBI spot. But Freddie Sanchez's progress has been much slower than the Giants had hoped it would be, and Freddie's not going to be back for a while. So that 2-spot open in the Giants lineup, and I think Bochy feels like Melky Cabrera fits right in. The news for Freddie Sanchez really not good this week.
Well, he played catch today after the cortisone shot.
So I guess that's some positives. Cabrera popped that one up. Foul.
You watch Freddie Sanchez take batting practice. You know, he looks pretty good. I mean, it's when he plays catch is when it's real obvious that he's got a ways to go.
Cabrera stays alive. Well, and the plan was, the hope was that Freddie would be ready for opening day. And not only is he not going to be ready for opening day, he will go the entire Cactus League and will not have played in one game in the field. He's been the designated hitter a few times, but not one game in the field yet. There's strike 3 called, and Cabrera couldn't believe it. Francis gets his second strikeout. 2 down, bases empty. Cabrera a little chat with Todd Titchener. Here comes Posey. It sure has made the final few days of spring in terms of the decisions the Giants have to make. No Freddie Sanchez. Made those decisions a little more complicated. One thing that's gone so well this spring is this guy and his performance, his health. Grounds one right to Brandon Phillips, though. And that'll do it. The Giants retired in order. On to the 5th in Scottsdale. 4-0 Reds. And our American League opening day schedule brought to you by Mazda. Of course, in the American League, there already been a couple games played earlier this week over in Tokyo. The A's and the Mariners split 2, but the stateside opening day this Thursday, Red Sox, Tigers, Blue Jays, Indians. Then everybody else will get started on Friday, April 6th, the same day that the Giants open back here in Phoenix. That's your Mazda American League opening day schedule. Here in Scottsdale, Giants fans sitting in the sun, soaking up some final Cactus League baseball the last weekend of the spring.
See that guy right there?
Yeah.
I saw Hunger Games yesterday, and he was in it.
He was prominently featured. Did you enjoy the movie?
Yeah, it was a good movie.
And now here he is at the ballpark.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Brandon Phillips, the hitter, and he fouls one off, so the count is 1-1 rather. Dave Fleming, Mike Krukow up here in the broadcast booth. Happy to have Gregor Blanco joining us from the Giants dugout. Gregor, first of all, thanks for giving us some time here. Welcome to the Giants. How you feeling?
Great guys. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing real well. We keep hearing over and over again about what a great Cactus League you've had, what a great impression you've made on the Giants. Have things gone as well as we've heard for you this spring?
Yeah, everything's been great. Everybody has helped me here, and I feel comfortable with my teammates, with everybody, and I just enjoying the time here.
Giants outfielder Gregor Blanco with us from the dugout as Phillips grounds one to Terrio, and Posey with a nice scoop at first for the out. Gregor, tell us the story about how you made it to this Giants organization. We've heard a lot about your Winter League performance in Venezuela. How did you choose to come to the Giants?
Well, it's a big story. I think when I started the winter ball there, I was hurt, and I started working out and I getting in shape again because I have a surgery on my left wrist, and start hitting tee and working with my coaches down there, hitting wise, and I talked to them. I wanna be the player that I wanna become. Since I do that, I know that was one thing that was bothering me before, and since then I just started working and playing hard and learning my game, and it's been great. It's been great, and in November I said to myself, you know what, you need to put some numbers. You need to improve yourself. You can play baseball, and a team's gonna want you to take you to spring training, and at that time there was a lot of offers, and I just choose the Giants because it's a great opportunity for me to be in a winning team, and I like the fans, and it's just a great team.
All right, great stuff from Gregor Blanco. There's a little flare into center field. Angel Pagan has it for out number 2.
Gregor, you came up with the Atlanta Braves in the National League, then you went over to the Kansas City Royals, the American League. Did you want to come back to the National League? Did that have anything to do with your decision?
Pretty much, yeah. I think in the National League you have more chance to be able to be in the team, and it's more fun. I think you really play baseball in the National League, and it's just great.
Gregor Blanco, Giants fans getting to know you. You have a great nickname, don't you? Tell us about your nickname.
Yeah, well, that's coming from Pablo Sandoval. Since I got here, he started calling me the White Shark, because that's what people call me back in my country in Venezuela, Tiburon Blanco, and that means the White Shark. So since there, everybody here is just been calling me like that.
Well, the Giants needed another animal nickname, so you've provided it, the White Shark. Joey Votto, power to the opposite field off the wall. And Melky Cabrera going to try to make a play of it at second, and almost got him, but a 2-out double. Well, Gregor Blanco, I know Giants fans are looking forward to seeing you play. I'm sure you're itching for the start of the regular season. We appreciate your time, getting to know you. We look forward to watching you in the orange and black. Thanks for being with us.
Anytime. I'm just having a great time, and hopefully I'll be with the team, and I just want to be part of it.
I guess it's not official yet, but I think it's a pretty good chance you're going to be with this big league club. So congratulations on your great spring, Gregor.
Thank you very much.
Gregor Blanco, who not just I think is going to make this team, Mike, but he's got a chance to take on a pretty good role, certainly much more than maybe the Giants would have dreamed of at the start of the spring.
Well, I agree. I mean, he's got the one dimension that is so sought after, and that's the dimension of speed. But if you watch this guy, he can do a lot of things. I mean, he can drag bunt, he can butcher boy, he can push bunt. He's got pop in his bat. You can't cheat defensively in the outfield on him. He uses the whole field. I mean, he's a weapon. I haven't seen him get off his back leg at all the whole spring. He has been in balance with every hack that he's had. Been very impressive. Covers a lot of ground in the outfield, and you're going to see a lot of him.
2-1 to Scott Rowland, who hits one up the middle, and that'll make it into center field for a hit. Votto around third. Pagan will not try to throw him out. Votto scores, and it's 5-0 Cincinnati.
Well, the Giants are coming home in the exhibition game against the A's at AT&T Monday, April 2nd. We'll have a new starting time, 7:35 p.m. It's also grab bag giveaway night. The Giants cleaned out their warehouse of leftover promo items, and the first 10,000 fans are going to get a surprise giveaway gift. The dynamic deal starts at only $5 for tickets. Also, that is the NC2A basketball finals that night. You can come out early and watch the game with all the Giants fans on the big screen. All TVs in the park will be showing the NC2A championship game. So go to sfgiants.com and get out there.
So you don't have to miss that game. You can come to the ballpark and have a good time, see the hoops, watch the Giants and the A's. I think it's going to be Bumgarner, right, that night, his final tune-up. I think Bumgarner on Monday against Oakland. Lincecum's going to go tomorrow in Maryvale. Jay Bruce now behind in the count 1-2 after that foul ball.
So you've been following basketball closely.
Yes.
Who's your pick to win it all?
Kentucky's the best team, but best team doesn't always win. But Kentucky's going to win.
Okay, we got a man making a call here.
I'll go out on a limb there. Real upset pick. Jay Bruce flips one to left. Cabrera charging hard and can't make a diving catch. It gets by him. Rowland doesn't run real well anymore, but he's got enough time to come around and score. A double for Jay Bruce puts the Reds ahead 6-0.
Boy, you see a guy die this late in spring training, you start to cringe.
Yeah.
Especially when he's going to be one of your offensive guys. And he almost makes a great play. I mean, remember last year when Mark DeRosa got hurt?
Yeah.
In the Bay Bridge series on a cold night in San Francisco.
You appreciate the effort, you love the hustle, but hey, just play it on a bounce here. It's March 31.
And the entire Giants coaching staff grimaced on that effort, but he almost pulled it off.
Yeah, and he's fine. That's the good news. Ludwig takes a little breaking ball for a called strike. $6-0 Cincinnati. Ludwig, the Giants have seen plenty of him over these last few years. Now he's found a home with the Reds. Ryan Ludwig should hit a bunch of home runs in that ballpark.
Yeah, one of the more unusual platoon systems. You were talking about it early. He and Chris Heisey, both right-handed hitters, but Heisey not a guy that does well against left-handed pitching. So when the right-handers are pitching, he's going to be the left fielder. When the lefties are on the mound, Ludwig's going to be in the roster, or in the lineup rather, being in left field. But you're right. I mean, after you play a season in Petco Park in San Diego, you got to feel like you lost your power. You play at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, it's a great place to re-find it.
It'll be back. That one squirts through Chris Stewart, which will advance Jay Bruce. It's been a sloppy game for the Giants here. Runner at third, 2 down. Chris Stewart in the mix for one of those final roster spots. There's a lot of drama here in the final weekend of the Cactus League. What are the Giants going to do behind Posey at the catcher's spot? Will they carry 2? Will they carry 3? What about young Hector Sanchez? With Whiteside and Stewart with big league experience with the Giants. Still not just unanswered publicly, but questions that I don't think the Giants have found answers for yet. They're taking it right down to the wire. They're the Cactus League numbers for those 3 this spring. Hector Sanchez has been just outstanding. He is a hitter, 22 years old, switch hitter.
Well, and that's your decision. I mean, do you want to go with more offense or do you want to go with more defense? If you want to go with more defense, you take Whiteside or Stewart. If you want to go with more offense, you go with Sanchez. Simple.
And for a while, the Giants were even toying with the idea of 3 catchers. Sounds a little bit less likely now. Ludwig, soft roller, And the Reds are retired, but a couple more runs for Cincinnati. Middle of the 5th in Arizona. 6-0 Reds. Our Jeep National League opening day schedule. An opening day for National League teams spread out over 3 different days and nights, including Wednesday night. Cardinals and Marlins get the National League season kicked off. Then that big chunk of games on Thursday. The Giants here in Arizona at the Diamondbacks on Friday, April 6th. Your Jeep National League opening day schedule. Dodgers Padres immediately go head to head with all the news in LA this week. Incredible news for the Dodgers and their fans. Here's Pablo Sandoval against the starter Jeff Francis, still in for the Reds. With the count now 1-1.
Yeah, people in Los Angeles very happy that the new ownership is finally coming. Staggering purchase price.
Amazing. The sport is pretty healthy right now, I'd say. New third baseman, the veteran, he's been around a long time. Miguel Cairo in for Scott Rowland, the only change for the Reds here. But the Dodgers with a totally different feel now this week. And it'll take some time for those changes to actually manifest themselves on the field, and no guarantee of on-field success. But the vibe is going to be much different, I think, when we head in early May to Dodger Stadium.
Well, there won't be any more fan boycotts.
Pablo way out in front there, popped one up. Cairo immediately into the action to make the catch.
Well, for comprehensive coverage of everything orange and black, check out pregame live and postgame live before and after every Giants telecast on Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports.
What a scene here at Scottsdale Stadium. Final chance for Giants fans in this Giants spring home ballpark to watch their team play. Tomorrow, a road Cactus League game, and then back to the Bay Area. Here's Ryan Theriot. Theriot, who it's not official yet, but essentially has made this team. Rolls one to the right side to Brandon Phillips, 2 down.
Boy, Jeff Francis has looked as good as he can look. Giants have gotten one hit off from a single by Melky Cabrera back in the first inning, and then very quickly Buster Posey hit into a double play, and that was the first inning. Since that time, it's been everybody else make a U-turn.
Those back-to-back at-bats, Cabrera and Posey in the first, that might be the hardest contact the Giants have had all game. Sherholtz hit a liner to first, his first time up. But you're right. Familiar name, Jeff Francis. Giants went head-to-head with him for a long time when he was in Colorado.
Well, this is a big outing for him because he hasn't had a good spring.
Nope.
He and Barry Zito, similar type numbers if you look at the stat sheet. So Francis had to do something today, and he's doing it.
And this is really what Zito was hoping for when he pitched last night, even with a rocky spring, have a a real solid performance to wrap things up, get some momentum heading into the regular season. Instead, for Zito, it was basically the opposite last night. Lots of concern there. Schuerholz pulled one way foul.
Well, Barry Zito is mechanically screwed up right now. I mean, he's underneath everything. He's missing high consistently. For Zito to be effective, he has to have knee-high command. He has to be out front. And if you listen to his post-game comments, he's saying that, I'm not there.
Schuerholz off the front foot a bit. Skies one to right center. Jay Bruce out number 3, and Jeff Francis continues to roll. Reds 6, Giants nothing. Spend opening day. The Giants will be right back here in Phoenix, but you can participate in Comcast Sportsnet's authentic opening day at AT&T Park. Free admission, free hot dogs for the first 5,000, free foam finger. Going to be lots of fun. Watch the Giants D-backs from Arizona on the big scoreboard at AT&T Park. That's Friday, April 6th. Game time 4 p.m. Doors will open at 3 p.m. You can get more info at csnbayarea.com. But earlier this week, I heard some folks around town talking about that, making their plans. Couldn't be down here in Arizona to watch the Giants on opening day, Friday the 6th, so they were planning to come to the ballpark, and we hope you do too. Beautiful scene here in Scottsdale, looking out to the mountains beyond. 6-0 Reds, top of the 6th, and a new pitcher for the Giants is the sinker baller, the right-hander Steve Edlofson.
Big sinker from Steve Edlofson, and he's another guy who's put himself on the map. Had a good, solid spring. And he's got the one thing you really like to see coming out of a bullpen, and that's the ability to get a ground ball. He's a strike thrower. You'll definitely see this guy in San Francisco this year, and it may happen at the start of the season. He's in the mix.
Good point. There's a pitch called a ball. A couple other changes, and one interesting one. Brett Pill's getting a little more time here at third base, so he's in for Pablo Sandoval. Joaquin Arias also in the mix for a job on that opening day roster. He's at second now for Terrio. Big chopper and a quick chance for Pill, who charges and did not quite get him. That ball just took a little too long to get to Brett Pill. I thought he made a pretty good effort on it.
Went back on the ball. Now he's got to come up, make for it. Quick exchange, a little bit of extra footwork right there, and that's something that improves when you get more chances like this. You can make up for a fast runner with a quick release, and that is all has to do with footwork. Now it's 4-1 going down the line. That's not a lot of time for Bill to make a play.
Now that was Chris Heisey in as the hitter there, so Heisey gets that hit. He's at first base. And now we get a look at the big young prospect at catcher for the Reds, Devin Mesoraco. who is not at a great Cactus League, but very talented, and he's going to get a lot of big league playing time this year.
And Dusty Baker said, with this guy, you know, you got to give him a year to get his foundation as a hitter. Don't expect a lot of offense from him the first year, but from a catcher's perspective, he is the real deal. And he can really shut down an opponent's running game. Nice weapon to have in National League Central. They got a lot of speed over there.
Bouncer foul from the young Devin Mesoraco. He's climbed up through the Cincinnati farm system. In some ways, not as big of a prospect as Buster Posey when he came up, was emerging through the minor leagues. But last year was Mesoraco's breakout year, and Reds fans were clamoring to get a look at him. He's still young. Against Edlifson here. Ball 3. From Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. The home of the groundhog.
Home of the groundhog.
Runner going on 3-1. Sort of a run and hit play from Dusty Baker. And Mesoraco just hit a little foul ball. So Heisey will go back to first. 6-0 Reds leading here in Scottsdale. Posey playing first base again. A big part of this last week, and I know you and John probably talked about it, Mike, but Buster Posey not just catching 9 innings, but playing back-to-back-to-back days, getting action at first, testing his legs on the base paths. The last 5 or 6 days, Posey's basically done it all and has come out feeling great about it.
Yeah, I think he's real tired about everybody asking how you feel.
Pickoff play there. Not a bad move from Edlifson.
The wonderful thing about a guy like Edlifson is he can get a guy on first base with nobody out, and all of a sudden one pitch get 2 quick outs with another ground ball.
3-2. We'll see if Heisey's going. He is. And the ball is fouled. It caught a piece of Chris Stewart. Stewart shaking that one out.
Maybe the top of the foot. Yeah, hit right there on the pad, but that pad doesn't do a whole lot to protect you. A little bit. Still barks on you.
A tiny bit. 3-2. Edlifson, another one of those quick moves to first. Well, you brought up that last decision on the pitching staff because Ryan Vogelsong, who worked today in the minor leagues, threw 55 pitches, said he felt great. Giants are hopeful he's only going to miss the 1 start, but he will miss a start. And now Edlifson catches Heisey off the bag. Heisey slips, and Arias will chase him down and put the tag on. Officially, it'll go as a caught stealing, but really Edlifson picked him off.
Oh, that's nice. Well, there was a play on. I'm sure he was running, but the one thing that you have to say to yourself is make sure he goes home before you go. Dusty Baker and everybody in baseball knows of Edlifson's sinker. He's got that much reputation. So you want to anticipate a ground ball, start that runner. And Edlifson with a good pickoff move takes advantage of it.
Mesoraco draws the walk. Well, that's low, ball 4. 1 on, 1 out. And Francis is staying in this game, so the starting pitcher will bat here in the 6th inning. He's been that good on the mound. But the Giants are going to carry an extra pitcher even with just the 4 starters. They're going to have a 12-man pitching staff, which means at the beginning of the year, 8 relievers. Francis going to bunt, and he bunts it foul. So for guys like Edlifson, like Dan Otero, who's had a great camp, and there's a chance to open the season on the major league roster.
It's a rough time if you're a player on the bubble. It really is. You're not sleeping well. It's you can't get it off your mind. And for a rookie who has the opportunity to do it for the first time to get to the big leagues, it's intolerable. It really is.
How many years early in your career would you say you were on the bubble, either at this point or some point in the spring?
Well, I had 2 camps where I was on the bubble before I broke, and it's tough. I mean, the first time I had no chance. The second time it was a shortened spring because of a lockout.
Edlison's going to second there after the bunt, and they won't get the double play, but Edlison does cut down the lead runner.
So even, you know, the bubble was more in my mind because you're a dreamer as a kid. You don't really know the reality of the situation. But so I never really was on the bubble. But it is agonizing, and it's the way all the way around baseball. Guys right now who are in the mix for that 24th, 25th spot, it is all consuming. It just it totally eats you up. You want it so bad.
Pinch hitter for Brandon Phillips, Wilson Valdez, former Dodger, former Philly, now at the Reds, taking strike one.
Especially if you're a guy who's like Brett Pill, who's played so many years in the minor leagues and really has paid his dues.
Put up numbers last year, and even when he got to the big leagues, Pill was productive for the Giants.
I mean, Pill, he's had 6 seasons in the minor leagues. That's a lot of bus rides. And he got knocked off the 40-man. He earned his way back on it. So, I mean, it's a carrot right there, and it's so close.
Slider from Edlison that time was way outside. Clay Hensley last night had to come out of the game. Another guy who appeared to have a spot in that bullpen locked up with a little tightness in his calf. The Giants say he's okay, and they're hopeful that will not be an opening day kind of setback. That would impact the numbers crunch. A little comebacker, and Edlison getting those ground balls. Flips one to get Valdez. Nice job by Steve Edlison. 6-0 Reds.
We're in town during AT&T opening week, April 16th through the 18th, and it's a rematch from the 2010 National League Championship Series. Monday night, April 16th, is Giants Magnet Schedule Night presented by AT&T. Game times at 7:15. The Phillies are also in town Tuesday and Wednesday nights, April 17th and 18th. Dynamic Deal View Reserve tickets are still available for $15 for all 3 games. So act now. Only a couple of hundred tickets remaining at this price. So go to sfgiants.com and get those tickets right now.
Very exciting early season series with the Phillies, of course, trying to figure out their own issues over the Grapefruit League with all the injuries that Philadelphia's had. Likely no Chase Utley that series. He'll start the year on the DL. No Ryan Howard. Philadelphia trying to patch things up as Emmanuel Burris leads off the bottom of the 6th against Jeff Francis. The Reds having made all kinds of changes in the field. We'll get to those here when we have a second. But a big final few days here for Burris to try to cap off what has been a successful Cactus League for him. Great chance that Emmanuel will be on that opening day roster. flips one to right and hanging up just long enough for the new right fielder Todd Frazier to make the catch. Almost like Burris didn't see that. He didn't know that it had gotten caught. So only the pitcher still out there as the Reds have made changes. Harrison left. Heisey stays in the game. He's a center fielder. Frazier just made that catch. Zach Cozart now the shortstop. Francisco over at first base for Dusty Baker. Chris Stewart to Chris Heisey, out number 2. And Jeff Francis just mowing right through the Giants today.
Well, there hasn't been a lot of loud contact either. He has not given up a lot of sweet spot contact. Say hello to all our friends up there at the sweet spot in Santa Rosa. John Ryan leads the charge with a lot of good Giants fans every day.
Sweet spot has sort of been missing in this game, though.
Yeah, this is the non-sweet spot game.
Brett Pill, 3 Cactus League home runs. And tight, and that one got a piece of it. Pill gets hit. Well, the Giants haven't had a base runner since the first inning, so I guess in some ways they'll take it, although hopefully Pill's okay.
Ball just bored right in on him, got him on the right wrist.
Pill appears to be all right. Standing next to the new first baseman, Juan Francisco. There's Angel Pagan. Bouncing ball toward Cairo. We'll go the short way for the force out, and that's it. Giants are retired. John's coming back to join Mike when we return to Scottsdale. 6-0 Reds.
I'd like to throw out the first pitch at a Giants game. To do so, all you need to do is check out NBC Bay Area on Facebook for your chance to win. Check it out. Here at Scottsdale Stadium, it has been all Jeff Francis, the starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, and all Cincinnati Reds. 6-0 Reds. Top of the 7th. Here again, John Miller.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Did you miss me?
I kept talking to you, and I thought you were upset with me. The whole time I was on radio, you never responded even one time. I would have missed you, but we had Andy Baggerly from the Comcast on. So
did he give up any scoopage?
He was fascinated. Check it out. Comcast Sportsnet BayArea.com. There's a strike from Santiago Casilla, the Giants' new pitcher. Zach Cozart. Burris in the dirt, but scooped out by Posey. And the Cozart is retired in his first plate appearance of the game.
There you see the numbers for Santiago Casilla. Through 10 games, 1-1, an ERA under 1. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 5 hits allowed. He has eaten up left-handed hitters. They're 0-71 off him. He has really come up with an off-speed pitch that has neutralized hitters from the left side, and he is really going, I think, going to have a great season this year.
Here is Juan Francisco, and he was badly fooled.
That's the pitch.
Giants have a couple of other changes. A new catcher, Hector Sanchez, is in there, replacing Chris Stewart. Sanchez could beat the odds and end up being the Giants' backup catcher to start the season. That curveball hangs a little bit high, and it is 2-0. Also, Gary Brown, back over from the minor league camp, replaces Angel Pagan in center field. 7th inning, 6-0. Cincinnati is leading. That's a sharp ground ball. Posey kept it in the infield, but can't get Francisco. That ball squirted off his glove. An infield hit for Juan Francisco.
Well, one thing about Buster Posey, and I think it's a great way to compliment him, he doesn't look like a catcher playing first base. I mean, he looks like an infielder. Remember, he was a shortstop at Florida State before they converted him to a catcher. So, you know, ground balls, he understands them, and it looks that way. His footwork's good, and he almost made a great play.
Casilla, a strike call to the inside at 93 miles an hour. Giants now with Cabrera still in left, but Brown in center, Sherholt still in right. Arias and Pill, who did not start the ball game, came in the previous inning. Posey still at first, Burris still at short. That's a base hit to right field for the veteran Miguel Cairo.
Well, one more look. Set your feet. Be balanced on both feet. Now, he's probably mad at himself because he didn't snag it, but he was right there. Good lateral movement to his left. A lot of times you take a catcher out of the squat, put him in the infield, and he can look like a fish out of water. Not the case with Buster Posey.
Well, for instance, Mike Piazza probably go to the Hall of Fame as a catcher, but to get his bat in the lineup more often, especially as he got older, they thought about where else could they play him, and it just it never worked for him playing first base. The bluff of the pickoff at second with Arias breaking in behind the runner. 2 men on, 1 man out for the Reds here in the 7th inning. Todd Frazier is the hitter. It's Francisco, number 25, at second. Cairo, the runner, at first. Reds have 12 hits today. The Giants have 1 hit. That's a strike on the outside, and it's 0-2. You know, the Giants and the Reds have one thing in common. In the era of the wild card, both of them at one time several years ago were involved in playoffs to determine who the wild card team would be. That ball is hit well right center field. Sherholtz can't get to it. Up against the wall. Francisco in to score. Cairo in to score, and it's a triple for Frazier. Frazier made a very quick tour around the bases over to third base, a 2-run triple.
Now, very difficult field right now with all the sun. Gets by Nate Sherholtz, and Frazier with good speed turns it into an easy 3-bagger. So Santiago Casilla, who has not had a bad inning this spring, getting roughed up here a bit by the Reds.
And he had Frazier down in the count, a 2-strike count. Giants bring the infield in now for Willie Harris. Up for the first time. 8-0 Cincinnati here in the 7th inning. Infield in all the way around. That's a foul out of play. Anyway, 1998, remember the Giants and Cubs ended up tied for the wild card berth in the postseason. The Giants had to go to Wrigley Field for a playoff game. The next year, The Reds ended up hosting the Mets. Same thing, playoff game to determine the wild card. And I bring that up because there's a new format for baseball's postseason. Games like that now will be played every single year. Whoever the wild card team, in those cases, those two instances mentioned, there was a tie for the wild card, so they had to have the tiebreaker playoff. Now there will be 2 wild cards every year, and they'll play that same one game. There's a ball outside, and this is if there had been 2 wild cards going back to 1996, the first full season of the wild card era. 4 times the second wild card would have been the Giants, including that 1998 season. Posey, and he keeps Frazier over at third as Harris is retired. 2 down, and Heisey will come up. But interestingly, 4 times the Giants, going back to 1996, most recently 2009, also 2004, the Giants would have at least had a shot in the postseason by winning that one game to project themselves into the division series. 4 times. So that's a very dramatic change. That one hits Chris Heisey an inning after Brett Pill got hit. So Heisey goes to first. Mike, there was one other note on that chart that we saw. Is the batter will be Devin Mesoraco, the young Reds catcher. In 2002, the year the Giants went to the World Series, played the Angels. They were the wild card team that year. With a second wild card team, the Giants would have had to play that one game as the wild card, and it would have been against the Dodgers in 2002.
Now, can you imagine the enthusiasm going into that game? I mean, serious business. I think it's a great thing that the format for the wild card has expanded. There are going to be 5 teams from each league because it's going to keep at least another 3 cities in it longer. And a one-game playoff, sudden death thing. I mean, baseball, only a few times have they seen that type of a game. It's exciting.
There's a slider just off the outside corner of Mesoraco. It really is.
Now, players and managers, and coaches, they're not that happy about it because you play 162 games. Now all of a sudden your game goes down to 1. They don't think it's fair. But you know what? It's going to be exciting.
Into the gap in right center field. Mesoraco is going to get an extra base hit. Scoring from third, Frazier. Going to third and stopping Heisey. And that's a 3-run inning now for the Reds in a 9-0 lead.
Tell you what, you want to see a great play. Gary Brown cuts off this ball in the gap, and he comes a long way. And watch how quickly he gets this ball back in. It was an off-balance, perfect throw, and it froze Heisey at third. Heisey's got good legs. With 2 outs, he's running. I mean, that's an exceptional play to keep him from scoring.
Well, there is a little preview of part of the Giants' future. Base hit for Jeff Francis. Just out of the reach of the second baseman Arias, who could not keep it from going through. Heisey scores after all. And Francis gets his first hit of the game. This is now a 4-run inning for the Reds and a 10-0 Cincinnati lead.
Now they were getting to come out and talk to Santiago Casilla and probably talk to him pretty much the way he talked to Jeremy Affeldt back in the third when he gave up 4 runs. Calm him down, give him a little bit of a breather, point out the positives, and tell him it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Say, what are the positives? Hey, he's throwing strikes.
But this new postseason format with the extra wild card, ostensibly the only point of it is, the reason that they were anxious to incorporate it, is that the feeling was that it wasn't enough of an incentive to finish first versus being a wild card team. And in fact, so often a wild card team ends up going to the World Series, beating teams that won division titles, sometimes including their own division, to do it. And sometimes Bruce Bochy was involved in a game like this at the end of the year. Teams don't even really play the game the last day of the season. It's a serious game. They know they're both in. It doesn't matter which one's the wild card and which one's the first place team. And that hit Wilson Valdez, who checked his swing, almost swung at the pitch. He's hit by the pitch, and now the Reds had the bases loaded.
A little heat seeker bore right in on him. He had nowhere to go. Too lucky.
Zach Cozart will come up. And I think that is a benefit. There's plenty of reason now to want to win the division title, even if you have to send your best pitcher out on the last day of the season instead of letting him wait until the division series, because you don't want to have that one-game playoff. You
do not. And that point you make about sitting out your ace, it's going to change a number of things. And that being a very important thing that you're going to see. You're going to see aces take that start. You're going to see guys who normally would be not playing, nursing injuries or whatever, are forced into a playing scenario.
There's the out at second. Barris feeding Arias for the force out on Valdez. The Reds are leading the Giants now 10-0. We were talking about the addition of a second wild card team, creating a one-game entry into the postseason between the two wild cards in both leagues. And Mike, we've shown that the Giants would have been that second wild card team 4 different times going back to '96 if the rule had already been incorporated. But look at 2002, the Giants and the Dodgers. The Dodgers would have been the second wild card, and they would have had this big playoff game. The Giants would have hosted it at AT&T Park. So we know that would have been something. But look at 2009. The Giants just a couple of years ago, and they were just starting to get good, right? Lincecum, Kane. It's hard to even remember who all was on that team now. But they finished several games behind the Colorado Rockies for the wild card. So I went with Dave Fleming today. We looked up those last few days of that season, the what ifs, as Melky Cabrera has a count of 2-0. Melky leading off for the Giants here in the 7th inning. He has a single, the only hit of the day for the Giants. He's 1 for 2. And that is in for a strike. It's 2-1. Anyway, the final weekend of that season, 2009, Tim Lincecum was going to go on a Friday and Kane on the Saturday. If they'd been the second wild card, that would have been on a Monday. And that is all for Cabrera, 1 away. But you know who would have been lined up with full rest to pitch that game on the Monday? Brad Penny, veteran pitcher who pitched extremely well as a late season acquisition for the Giants. I think the Giants would have taken their chances against the Colorado Rockies with Brad Penny on the mound.
He'd have faced Jeff Francis.
Could well be. So maybe it wouldn't have turned out that well for the Giants. Jeff Francis is the best left-hander I've seen all spring. This side of Jamie Moyer.
He has been that pitcher today, Jeff Francis, who's similar style to that of Jamie Moyer. Softballer, A lot of off-speed stuff. Keep the ball down. Use the outside corner.
Buster has hit 2 ground balls to second, 1 into a double play against Francis today. 2-0 the count to him now. 10-0. The Reds are leading the Giants. The other thing in 2009 that we found was the Giants also would have been in a great race against the Florida Marlins and the Atlanta Braves for that second. Wow, there would be plots and subplots and whatnot. The Giants beat out Florida by a game and Atlanta by 2 games. We don't know what would have happened if that had actually been a scenario where they were all trying to beat each other to the final day. But that could have been very interesting. The Giants would have had that opportunity to go into postseason several times under that format by winning that 1-game playoff if that had already been in effect. So there is some excitement, I think, that could be added for ball clubs, in addition to making it imperative if you're a team with a chance to take first place. You got to do everything you can to win first place. You do not want to have that 1-game playoff.
No, you do not. You want to avoid that at all costs. But I just think it's going to be very exciting. And this may be one of the most exciting Septembers we've ever seen because of it.
Joaquin Arias is the hitter. Jared Parker is the pinch runner for Posey at first base. And he is a prospect out of the Giants farm system who runs well. Changeup is too low to Arias. We're in the 7th inning. The Giants are, well, don't even ask.
You're right. It has not been a good day for the Giants. It has been all Jeff Francis.
Arias, a drive into right field, going back is Frazier. Still going back. That's gone. A home run for Arias. It just got up and would not come down. Out of the home run porch out there in right field, where the ball tends to carry well.
Well, impressive swing of the bat because it goes the other way. And at Scottsdale Stadium with a little breeze blowing out, Arias has finally put the Giants on the board. Let's watch the side swing. Does he let it get in deep? You bet. That's that thing right off his back hip.
Hector Sanchez, base hit to center field.
He can hit.
He may have hit his way into at least the discussion to be the backup catcher for the Giants, as Joe Price, the pitching coach for the Reds, goes out to the mound now to talk to Jeff Francis. Over in the American League, these are some of the scenarios that would have played out if there had been a 2 wild card system in place. But look at 2002, the year the Giants, a wild card, played the Angels, a wild card, in the World Series. Would there have been extra layers of intrigue? The Angels would have had to play either the Red Sox or Seattle in that 1-game playoff. But first, the Red Sox and Seattle would have a playoff game to determine who would have been the second wild card. That could have taken a while. Some of the other years, Oakland, 2004, they would have been a second wild card and played the Red Sox in the 1 game. The Yankees, 2008, the year Yankee Stadium closed. They would have actually been the second wild card team that year instead of just playing out the string. Although, as Andy Pettit might well tell you, if they'd had to do that and made it any further, his arm might have just fallen off, because he was pretty well shot before that season was even over, much less a postseason. Here is Nate Scherholtz. Whoa, ropes it foul.
Heads up.
0-2. Sanchez at first. Anyway, that'll be something to keep in mind now. Extra layer of pennant race to keep an eye on. And I think there are a lot of people still having a hard time keeping an eye on just on the wild card race. Sometimes it's even hard to figure out the wild card standings by looking at your morning paper. And the curveball misses way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now you could argue that whole thing, but they say, why does there need to be an extra wild card team some purists would not even want there to be any wild card at all for this day. But it's really not about that. It's about not so much adding an extra team to it, but trying to give incentive to winning first place over being the wild card. The double play hit by Sherholtz ends the inning. The Giants get a couple of runs, 10-2 Cincinnati.
Complete Giants coverage on Sportsnet Central every night at 10:30 p.m. Comcast Sportsnet, authentic Bay Area sports.
10-2 Cincinnati leading the Giants as the Giants go to their bullpen now. And the young left-hander, Wilmine Rodriguez, comes into pitch. So we'll be interested in having a personal look here at Rodriguez, who is 26 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Been in the Giants organization since 2004.
He is chewed up lefties. They can't touch him. He's got good stuff. And he's always been able to get the strikeout. 290 strikeouts in 385 career minor league innings. And that takes in 7 or 8 minor league seasons. But he's always had a wild hair up his nose. 201 walks lifetime with those 290 strikeouts. So it's just always been a matter of whether or not he can get his good stuff in the zone.
Juan Francisco, powerful left-handed hitter. 1 ball and no strikes. Oh. The ball didn't go anywhere, but the bat traveled a great distance, and everybody's okay down there.
We're good. He'd already been hit by a bat 2 days ago.
Is that what it was?
Well, everybody's okay. He didn't spill his beer. Such a scary moment, though, especially in a ballpark that's so close to the playing field like Scottsdale Stadium is.
You just have to always be ready and never take your eye off the ball, or in this case, the bat. 2-1 the count to Francisco. Francisco got an infield hit back in the 7th inning, his only previous plate appearance. 10-2, the Reds lead the Giants. They've out-hit the Giants 15-3. That's in the outside corner for a strike. It's 2-2. We're talking about the new postseason format, the extra wild card team. As you see, Connor Gillespie now at third base for the Giants. Brett Pill moved across the diamond from third to first base. 2-2 the count. Slider outside, dug out of the dirt by Hector Sanchez. And Jarrett Parker, who came in as a runner for Buster Posey in the 7th inning, is now in left field. Melky Cabrera retires for the day. 3-2 the count to Juan Francisco, facing Wilman Rodriguez. And that got there in a hurry to Emmanuel Burris. One away.
Nice at bat. Had a challenge, 3-2. And you're just happy when it finds a glove. And if Emmanuel Burris didn't have that glove broken in before this play, it's broke in now.
Now, Mike Fleury, or rather Mark Fleury, F-L-U-E-R-Y for Fleury, is up in place of Miguel Cairo. One ball and no strikes. But Mike, we're talking about the new wild card scenario for the postseason. Also, the big news regarding the Giants' arch rival, the Dodgers, new ownership. And it still has to be officially approved and all that sort of thing, but it appears that it's all but a done deal. And a group where Magic Johnson is involved with the group, the great former NBA star, who says he grew up a baseball fan in Detroit. Look out, right past Wilman Rodriguez into center field, a base hit for Fleury. But there's a lot of speculation that once this new ownership officially takes over from Frank McCourt, that the Dodgers could be big spenders in free agency. I guess the thinking goes that they paid by far the highest price ever paid. I mean, maybe almost 2.5 times the biggest price ever paid for a Major League Baseball team. And they didn't pay all that money to not go out and spend some money trying to field as fine a team as they possibly can in the free agent market and that sort of thing. So the plot thickens in terms of the Giants and Dodgers and their relationship with each other as you look to the years to come.
Well, and Magic Johnson said he's going to be active in recruiting some of the potential free agents to come to Los Angeles.
Darryl Jones is the hitter. Pinch hitting here for Todd Frazier. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to him.
And I've never heard an owner say that.
Except maybe George Steinbrenner years and years ago. And when Steinbrenner bought the Yankees, there was no such thing as free agency yet. It happened just after he became the owner, but then he sort of seized ownership of it soon thereafter.
Well, I think they need a change, and it wasn't that much fun going to Dodger Stadium the last couple of years, and the fans sort of rebelled last year. It was weird seeing a ballpark where 50,000 seats were sold and only 10,000 people showed up. It was not like anything I'd ever seen before, but the whole mood in Los Angeles was horrible. And this new ownership group is, I'm sure, going to change all that, or at least try to. I don't think it's going to take that much effort. They've already got Dodger fans excited about the new regime.
2-2 the count. The slider in the dirt, a check swing. Knocked down by Hector Sanchez, getting a workout here from Wilman Rodriguez. 3-2 the count. Willie Harris is on deck. So that's a big change. The Padres were supposed to have been sold, and then the owners did not even vote on approving the would-be new ownership. And Jeff Morad, who was the head of that group that was going to buy the Padres, is apparently Mike stepped down. So if you have a lot of money, the Padres could well be available again.
Yeah, they're only going for $1.8 billion.
Here's Willie Harris. 2 down, runner at first. here in the 8th inning. Harris grounded out in his only at bat. The Reds jumped ahead in this game with a 4-run 3rd inning against Jeremy Affeldt. They added 2 more in the 5th against the minor leaguer Mitch Lively, and then a 4-run 7th against Santiago Casilla.
But you hear, I mean, I know Forbes will at times put prices or potential worth of Major League franchises.
The Forbes magazine, yeah.
And I want to know what this is going to do to the value of the other franchises in Major League Baseball. I mean, if one team's going for $2.1 billion, what's that do to the other teams? It's got to raise the price up a little bit, I would think.
Some people think it's great news for the Mets. Beleaguered ownership, the Wilpon family, as they've been sued, and apparently they reached a settlement now on this the Madoff scandal. Base hit to left, the Madoff Ponzi scheme. So, but now you would think, especially a big market like that, the biggest media market, the biggest television market, that the value of the Mets certainly has risen incrementally as a result of the sale of the Dodgers. Apparently, it's not just the highest price ever paid for a Major League Baseball team by far, and not only the highest price ever paid even for any professional sports franchise in this country, but the highest price ever paid for any sports franchise in the world. And that is too high to Chris Heisey. Heisey has singled and been hit by a pitch in this game. 2 men on, 2 men out for the Reds in the 8th inning.
Yep, he's dumbfounded by the price.
You kidding me? $2 billion.
$2 billion. I read that. I went, wait a second. The Cubs just set a record for a little less than $900 million, and we all went, whoa. Eyebrows were raised.
Wow.
And now this thing comes in at $2+ billion. Holy cow.
1-1 the count. And ordinarily, those kind of things, the finances, as a baseball fan, I don't really pay much attention to them because I really don't care. But for me, the game is the thing. But I think this is interesting for Giants fans because how does this affect the Giants? Is it going to be tougher for the Giants to win the division in the years to come if the Dodgers have such amazingly deep pockets?
Well, they are deep. Obviously, when they can afford $2.1 billion, and Dodger fans are very excited about the new ownership coming in. However, the bad news is that the ticket prices are going to go up 700% per ticket.
What's that ticket right behind the dugout? $1 million. Now, unless you want it for all the games, now that's going to cost you. That's the old Steve Martin line. He says, "Wow, you want so much money to appear at our thing, and we only have like 500 seats. How are we going to possibly afford?" He says, "I'll charge everybody $1 million."
There, that solves that.
2-2 the count to Chris Heisey. Devin Mesoraco, the young catcher. We'll be hearing from all reports out of Cincinnati a lot about him in the years to come, by the way, Mesoraco. Oh, look out. 2-2. Heisey, by the way, that scrambled him over there in the Reds dugout. Heisey's the guy in the left field platoon. He's the right-handed hitter who just destroys right-handed pitching. He's the guy that they'll play when a right-hander's pitching, but he's facing a lefty now, and he's never shown an ability to do well against left-handed pitching. He sort of defies the baseball thinking on that percentage. 3-2 the count to Heisey. But you know, when you talk about all the numbers in baseball and how they're studied and whatnot, if you're Dusty Baker, you got a guy who wears out right-handers. Well, why not just use him against right-handers if that's where he's had his success? And that's exactly what they're planning to do in Cincinnati this year. There's Dusty, longtime manager of the Giants. Helped the Giants. In fact, was the manager who took the Giants to the World Series in 2002.
Got his toothpick, his wristbands. Yep, we recognize those.
Runners go. On the run, Gary Brown. 2 men left. The Giants are trailing 10-2. And Bill Bray, a left-hander, comes on in relief of the starting pitcher, Jeff Francis. Francis was extremely impressive. 2 runs allowed, 3 hits in 7 innings. So here's Bray. The Reds also, with a couple of other changes defensively that we'll update for you as we have an opportunity. So there's Bill Bray. And one thing that happened with the Reds, Mike, something totally unforeseen, was that they went out and signed a free agent to be their new closer, Ryan Madson, formerly of the Phillies. And he's hurt. He's going to have Tommy John surgery, and he's out for the year.
He will never, ever pitch one pitch for the Cincinnati Reds.
So the question was, then who's going to be the closer?
Well, Sean Marshall is the guy who a lot of believe was eventually going to take that role, because they didn't figure that Madsen was going to be able to be with the club after this year. He was going to hit the free agency market, be ready to roll. Marshall would then inherit that job. So Sean Marshall, a left-hander, likely to get the bulk of those save opportunities early in the season. However, they are saying that it could be a situation where they go closer by committee.
Emmanuel Burris leading off here against Bill Bray. It's 2-0. My first question is always, well, if your guy, one of your top setup men that you bid high to get him. They traded some real prospects to the Cubs in that deal for Sean Marshall. So he's going to be your closer. Well, who replaces him as your highly coveted setup man? Well, Bray is the guy who would move in as the left-handed setup man for the Reds. And you mentioned some of the other names that would be involved as well. So that'll be the question.
But I mean, the Reds are a team that, I mean, they don't have the type of budget that other teams in their division has, like the Cubs or the Cardinals. And for them to lose $8.5 million this year and not see one pitch with that investment, because Madsen's going on the DL, going to have Tommy John surgery, he's missed the whole season, that hurts. It really hurts them.
Well, they're hopeful that as Burris gets a walk to start the inning. First time he's been on base today. Now young Gary Brown. We're anxious to see Brown, who's perhaps the Giants' center fielder in the years to come. This is his first plate appearance today. He got moved back to the minor league camp several days ago. Back over. 2 hits, 11 at bats in limited duty in the Cactus League. And he takes ball 1. Last year in the California League, he was the Rookie of the Year. Those are pretty good numbers, Mike. A .336 average, 14 homers, 13 triples, 34 doubles, 80 batted in, 53 steals, as well as an outstanding performance defensively in center field.
You see a young player come up and have double-digit figures in home runs, and he can steal you 53 bags. That puts you on the map across baseball.
And that's the division in the California League that is more the pitchers part of the California League. There are some ballparks in the southern part of the California League where big offensive numbers are the norm, but not in San Jose. Rips that one foul down the left field line. He's got tremendous speed, but apparently he got pretty good pop in that bat as well. He's probably start the season in Double-A ball this year. That'll be somebody we'll be keeping an eye on. That's for sure.
Yeah, some of the scouts are talking about, there's great speed, there's great baseball speed, and he has great baseball speed. They like his instincts in the field. They like his instincts on the base paths. But he is a weapon, and it won't be long before he's in the big leagues. That I can assure you. He'll be at Double-A level this year. And that Double-A club is going to have a lot of prospects.
That's playable for Mesoraco. And we got Brown on a 3-1 pitch on a foul out to the catcher.
Let's take a look at the technique. Now, the whole goal is find the ball and then throw your mask out. And if you're good, you try and put the mask at home plate. That's pretty good right there.
Pretty good rip there by Brett Pill, fouling it straight back. Pill hit by a pitch his first time. This is Devin Mesoraco. Well, they told us he does everything well, and that's an aspect of his game that I hadn't really heard about. But
yeah, it's to me it's kind of showing off, but it's a stat that gets checked.
He's got that third eye apparently in the back of his head. 1 ball, 1 strike to Brett Pill. 3 homers, 11 batted in, average .278, and still in a battle trying to win a spot. He's in one of those what if lists now.
And these are big at bats for these guys.
Base hit to left. And I think especially for him against a left-handed pitcher such as Bill Bray, a big league lefty, there are a lot of people taking a close look at Pill's at bat right here.
He doesn't have a big load, very compact load, and just a nice relaxed hand action through the contact zone, and the ball jumps off his bat. He is the strongest Giant. Pound for pound, he could do more in that weight room than anybody in that clubhouse. And he looks to me like he's ready to be a big leaguer. That's a good at bat.
Here's Connor Gillespie in the leadoff spot of the order now, up for the first time. Gregorius, the new shortstop for the Reds, over behind Emmanuel Burris. The Giants have 2 men on, 1 man out in the 8th inning. Gillespie, another left-handed hitter, trying to make something happen here. The Giants down 10-2. This is Connor's first plate appearance. He's hitting .194 for the spring in 36 at bats. And slider on the outside at the knees. 0-2 the count. But going back to Brett Pill, Mike, one of the things the Giants would want to keep him for is not only his versatility and his power, but especially against left-handed pitching. That would be the idea with him, is that like maybe want to bring him into a game late as a pinch hitter against a tough lefty, start him against a lefty. Strike 3 call. And he threw the knee buckling breaking ball there. The 2 down. Tyler Latorre is up now. Tyler out of Santa Cruz.
And what does UC Davis?
Mesoraco kept that ball in front of him. The runners have to hold. Burris at second, Pill at first. Latorre been in the Giants farm system since 2006. 6 years in the farm system out of Aptos High School, and then, as you say, UC Davis. And Mesoraco just missed that one. The runners advance on the pass ball.
I always talk about how hard it is to see when you have a ball come out of the sun and then go into the shade for hitters. You don't always talk about it, about how hard it is to see for the catcher. And the other thing too here in the Cactus League is a lot of the batter's eyes out center field are not that big. Chris Stewart was talking about that today. He says, this is not an easy place to catch because it's hard to see. Pure pass ball though.
Francisco Ray covering. Latorre is retired. 2 hits, 2 left. Now we go to the 9th inning. The Giants are down 10-2. The Reds lead the Giants as we go to the 9th inning. The shadows of the late afternoon advancing across home plate, just like we might see in a regular season afternoon game in a big league ballpark with the 3 decks. Giants with some changes, starting with the right-hander from Venezuela, Gene Machi, or as they call him in Venezuela, Kean, which he prefers if he's in Venezuela.
He's got one of the best kill pitches in camp. He's got a split finger fastball that has opened up a lot of eyes. It's a good one.
Machi. Now the pitcher, there's Bobby Haney at second base with Joaquin Arias moving from second over to short. And Emmanuel Burris is out of the game now. From the sunshine into the shadows. Whoa. Very close.
Good pitch. His velocity goes 92 to 95. It's a good crisp fastball, but his split is wow.
Mesoraco, a high drive into left center field. On the warning track, caught by Jarrett Parker. And the wind, which had been blowing out earlier, has died down considerably. So that one maybe didn't get the push that it might have earlier. Mesoraco from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Retired. Now here is Didi Gregorius.
That's a big league name. Didi Gregorius. Gregorius the Glorious. And baseball has always enjoyed colorful names. Always.
Gregorius, who came in to play shortstop, up for the first time. 2-0 the count to him. Didi Gregorius. He sounds like a character from that new movie, The Hunger Games. Didi Gregorius from District 12.
That's right.
3-0. It has sort of a, at least the last name, a Roman, ancient Roman sound to it. Well, Gregorius. Apparently that was not ball 4. It's now 3-1.
Yeah, we saw a couple fans that had big Mohawk-styled orange wigs on earlier, and we thought that they were from the movie Hunger Games.
I saw that movie, by the way, and I liked it.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday. I did too.
Three and 2 the count.
So are you getting in the mode here as we start to head out on our first road trip next Thursday? Giants open up the season in Arizona for 3. Then you go to Colorado for 4. One of those days is an off day. That means movie day.
I may have seen them all. I need some new ones to come out between now and then. 2 down, nobody on, and here is Wilson Valdez. Didi Gregorius. He gone. 2 down, and Wilson Valdez now. Yeah, that's a pastime I think we all enjoy when we have the chance. Just it's like a 2-hour vacation, sitting in a darkened theater.
Killing popcorn.
Telephone's off. Nobody knows you're there. Nobody calls you. Yeah, and you can eat as much popcorn as you want in peace. Juan Francisco, who's a switch hitter, on deck. Valdez, base hit. In fact, that's not Francisco. That's Fleury coming up next. Where did I get Valdez? Or where did I get Francisco? He's up next after Fleury. Gillespie, and that's the inning. Nicely done again for Gene Machi. Last chance for the Giants. Major League debut at Wrigley Field. And in that first game, he was a starting pitcher at that time. In the first inning of his first game, Scott Rowland hit a 3-run homer against him right down the left field line at Wrigley. And now Marshall is Scott Rowland's teammate as the new closer of the Cincinnati Reds.
Having a good spring. 15 strikeouts against 3 walks. One of the better breaking balls in the game.
Broke in back in 2006. Sean Marshall, 6 feet 7 inches tall. And last year, 78 games with the Cubs, 2.26 ERA. There's that big curveball, a beauty, strike 2.
And you're going to see a lot of them. You're right.
Jarrett Parker, the hitter. He had 79 strikeouts and 75 and 2/3 innings last year, and only 17 walks. He came back with a slider, and Parker was right on it. And this guy, Mike, is a very highly thought of prospect out of the Giants farm system. He's big, but he's also fast, and he's got some pop in his bat.
Well, he has no idea what he just did. He just took a pretty good breaking ball from Sean Marshall, who's got one of the best in the game, and scored it up at a 2-strike count. That's the type of at bat that gets noticed in that Giants dugout.
As it takes place against a proven big leaguer, and in this case, a big league star. Jarrett Parker hit 13 home runs last year at San Jose, 253 average, also stole 20 bases. He was the Giants' second selection in the 2010 player draft. He's 6 feet 4 inches tall, Mike. Joaquin Arias, the hitter. Arias hit a home run in the 7th inning.
Opposite field blast really let this ball get in deep to him and just took it right out over the right field wall. A little bit of a breeze blowing, but still quality at bat. You grab a ball that hard the opposite way, you've had a good day. In one swing, you've had a good day.
One ball and 2 strikes now to Arias, who's got a shot. He's a utility infielder. Other than Brandon Crawford, Arias is the Giants who's played shortstop this spring. He's the one who's looked the best. He's down on strikes here, and there's one away. So they like Arias, the way he moves at short, and they also like him at second base. So he's got a shot. Here is Hector Sanchez now. 1 out, 1 on, last of the night. Hector been getting base hits all spring, including today. Came in for the first time in the 7th inning to the plate and ripped a single. That was against the starting pitcher, Jeff Francis. That's a double play ball. 1, 2, and that ends the game. 6-4-3, and for the Giants, their final home game of the spring in the Cactus League. One more game over in Maryvale against the Brewers tomorrow, and then they fly home. But again, some of the shortcomings of the ball club, especially on offense, still present today, that have caused some great concern for manager Bruce Bochy.
Well, I think the concentration for the team is pretty fragmented right now. They're looking forward to getting out of Dodge and heading on the plane going back to San Francisco. This is a very emotional weekend around baseball because you're seeing some of the favorites in every clubhouse get sent out, get traded, or released. And it happened yesterday when Mike Fontenot was let go. And I think this is a very quiet clubhouse today, and I think it showed up.
10-2, the Reds over the Giants. We're going to be back with more from the Sonoran Desert. Stay with us.